And welcome everybody to the return of the Pulse of Fins Nation. I am your host, Louis Sung, and joining me as my co-host once again is my good friend, Ron Caniff. Rocking the shades, rocking the hat, rocking the shirt. He's got all the things. He is ready. I can tell what his pulse is feeling like for this Miami Dolphins season. How are you, sir?
I'm awesome. I cannot wait for this season. Week 1 disappointment can't come soon enough. No, I'm just kidding.
We're on it's the New England Patriots. We're gonna lose.
Well, no, I feel like we're gonna win. I just feel like
year.
I feel like we're gonna win. I just feel like I'll be disappointed if we don't win by at least 3 touchdowns because I don't know. That's just where I am this season. Like I want to beat them by 3 touchdowns, or if it's 2 touchdowns, I'll be kind of mad.
It does feel like that kind of a season, doesn't it? Hearing all the reports that the New England Patriots are struggling. Mac Jones is not really getting this new offense, which is actually kind of interesting.
Which isn't really a new offense, but okay.
Well, you're the Alabama guy. Maybe I'll ask you about Mac Jones a little bit later and you can get some insight. But I just want to say hello to everybody. Martin Lopez, or Lopez Martin. I don't know which way is it first, but either way. So you are actually first. Congratulations, good sir. Loving the Bugs Bunny did you know that I recently heard that Bugs Bunny is more recognizable as a cartoon character than even Mickey Mouse is?
No, I didn't know that.
No, it's like very interesting to me. I figured if anybody, I don't know if that reaction is because you're shocked or because why am I talking about this? I don't know.
Is Bugs Bunny a Dolphins fan? I mean,
he's
trying to see where you.
He should be this year. He should be this year. But anyway, I want to say thank you to everybody who's joining us, and as always, I want to say thank you because we are once again sponsored by our good friends at Prize Picks. This show is brought to you by Prize Picks. We here at the 5 Reasons Sports Network are proud to be working with Prize Picks again this upcoming NFL season. It's a revolutionary fantasy platform where you pick 2, 3, 4, even all the way up to 5 different players across different teams, across different leagues to go over or under their fantasy point projections. And if you predict right, you can win big. Not only that, as part of an extra little bonus for you, Prize Picks routinely offers freebie picks. So, for instance, if Patrick Mahomes throws more than 1 yard against the New England Patriots, you will get a free win on that one. So they'll routinely give you a little bit of an extra push to give an increase of your odds of winning. So don't delay. Use the promo code 5, spell it out, 5, F-I-V-E, and they'll match up to $100 on your initial deposit. Once again, that's prizepicks.com and the promo code 5. Thank you very much for sponsoring today's show. So, we got a lot of stuff to talk about since the last time we've been on, Ron. The Miami Dolphins hype has never been higher. The Pulse of Fins Nation, it seems like the heartbeat, the blood pressure is rising, but in the best possible ways. The excitement, and I think we recently just heard that they have sold out of season tickets. There are no more. You cannot get any more. Do not try to even call them. The people who are calling, you interested in season tickets? Their phones are dead. There are no more season tickets to be had.
They fired them all. They fired they fired just like when the Heat signed LeBron and and Bosch. They just fired their entire ticket sales team. There you go. Yeah, first time in the history of the team that we have sold out of season tickets.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy how much of a difference. It's crazy how much of a difference a guy like Tyreek Hill makes, because that's really where this all stems from, is the fact that Tyreek is here making up some hype. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into some of the comments that y'all have left. We actually went ahead and asked regarding what is it that we're looking for as far as expectations for the preseason. We're facing up against, I believe, the Chicago Bears to start things off. Is it the Chicago? No, it's the Tampa Bay Bucks, right?
The Bucks.
The Bucks.
Yeah,
you know why?
Yeah,
you know why I have the Bears on my brain? Because
Why?
of the Roquan Smith stuff.
Of course.
And suddenly I'm thinking, oh my gosh, can we add even more to this team? Like, can the hype possibly get any higher?
Dream team.
I know, right? Exactly, the dream team. Let's make a brand new defense. So, one of the main questions was, what are you expecting? What are questions about this upcoming preseason? So, what from Finaholic? What position group from the Dolphins will have the biggest challenge facing the Bucks this week? I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you, Ron. What do you think is going to have the biggest struggle against the Buccaneers for the preseason?
I mean, the biggest test for our team is going to continue to be offensive line until further notice. Let's be honest. I don't even know how much Tua and Tyreek, and while I don't even know if those guys are going to play a snap, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see most of the offensive line out there. We're going to see Austin Jackson out there. We're going to see Williams out there snapping. We'll probably not see Armstead out there. So we'll probably see Coleman over on the left side or Little. So I just think it's the line. I mean, maybe Hunt doesn't get a bunch of snaps, but 4 of the 5 guys, or I should say 3 of the 5 guys, are going to be out there probably getting a lot of snaps. We got to see, what these guys can do, and the Bucs have a pretty good defense. So the secondary is a little questionable, but our offensive line versus their defensive line, I think, will be what most people will be watching.
And I would have to agree with that assessment because, as usual, really at this point, the only question mark that we have is that offensive line. I feel like there's not really questions about any other position at this point. Like, is there any position besides the offensive line that you actually have any questions about? The quality?
I still think that linebacker can be a bit of the question. I don't know that we have like a top-notch linebacking core. We have good linebackers, and I like Baker a lot, but I mean, I know a lot of people consider Phillips as an outside linebacker. So if you consider it 3-4, you consider Phillips an outside linebacker. I get it. Consider Ingram as an outside linebacker. I get it. But I'm just kind of talking about more the guys that are going to stuff the run, not necessarily the guys that are going to be rushing the passer. So maybe linebacker. I'm not saying it's bad, but no, I think offensive line's still the question mark. Doesn't mean that question hasn't been answered, but we just haven't gotten to see for ourselves yet.
A lot of folks are agreeing with you there. Linebacker. They're all those. I guess that is the biggest question mark as far as the defense is concerned, because I'm not concerned about the cornerback position. I'm not concerned about the safety position. And I'm definitely not concerned about the defensive line, because even after releasing Adam Butler with a failed physical, I mean, that just means there's more Zach Sealer. And I'm very happy to see more Zach Sealer.
More Sealer, more Jenkins. So, I think we'll be okay there.
And there's Manny saying, yes, trade for Roquan Smith. See, that's why I had the Chicago Bears on the brain. No, we're playing the Bears, right? No, we're not playing the Bears, but there's something about the Bears that I really want. So let's go ahead and just address that real quick. The Roquan Smith, and I want to go ahead and can you pull up the last tweet that I actually requested to be shown, because this actually is directly related to that whole discussion. The whole Roquan Smith thing, he suddenly requesting a trade. And it's baffling because that's an all-pro linebacker saying, I want out. And they're the Bears are in dire straits at a certain position. We happen to have an abundance. Exclusivity, our good friend Juan, who now is running with Basement Sports. Dear Miami Dolphins, you traded the wrong tight end. We want Roquan, not pick swaps. That's in regards to the trade the Dolphins just made. They sent Adam Shaheen and a 7th rounder to the Houston Texans for a 6th round pick. But the implication there is, well, if you're not going to pay Mike Gesicki next season, then why don't you just go ahead and trade him to the Chicago Bears, who seem to collect tight ends, and then go ahead and get Roquan Smith as a 1-and-1 trade, which on paper doesn't sound like a terrible idea. But at the same time, I don't want to give up Mike Gesicki and then just leave Durham Smythe and Hunter Long as the only real tight ends on this roster, So, but that being said, the idea of trading for Roquan Smith, it's really hard to ignore that kind of a concept. I believe this is the last year of his rookie deal, right? And he's wanting to get a big time payment. He wants to reset the linebacker market. If let's do it this way. Let's say he's a 1-year rental. Let's say we decide to keep Smith for just for this year. Let's just get that out the way. Like, go ahead and get that set up. So you trade for Roquan Smith. Let's say you give up Preston Williams, who's disgruntled, and you give up Lynn Bowden Jr., who's not going to have much space. I'm going to take that as a compliment, Aaron Anders. Thank you very much. So let's say you trade Lynn Bowden Jr. and you trade Preston Williams to a extremely needy Chicago Bears team who have pretty much almost no wide receivers left on their roster because they've been absolutely pounded with injuries, and the first preseason game hasn't even started yet. So
they're like last year's Ravens with the running back core.
Yeah, exactly. And you're running into some issues there. So let's say you do that. And let's say you even throw in like a 3rd round draft pick there. And you just say, just give us Roquan. You can keep everything else. And hell, I would even go ahead as far as to send in a Landon Roberts and say, here you go. Here, we'll fill your linebacker void for you a little bit. We'll give you a little patch to heal that wound that we have just inflicted on you. So if you trade, and besides, not only that, we still have Calvin Munson on the roster. And I know Alfredo, our good friend Alfredo Arteaga from 3 yards per carry, thinks very highly of him. So let me just double check that to make sure that I am accurate in my statement here that Calvin Munson is still on the team. And he is, in fact, on the team. Yes, he is. So there you go. So if you say that if Alf is correct and Calvin Munson is basically a Landon Roberts, then what do you lose by trading veteran Landon Roberts? Nothing. But you help the Bears out, and just a little bonus. Like, here you go. Now you can now you have a linebacker to fill the Roquan Smith void. I personally am finding myself being awfully greedy about this whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Everybody thinks that it would be the finishing touch. I mean, it would be the finishing touch on a really good defense, honestly. But I mean, I just don't. We haven't seen Greer make moves like that are temporary, unless it's a really good deal. Yes, he signed Melvin Ingram, signed a few of the running backs for a 1-year deal, things like that. But that's completely different than signing a guy like Smith and just on a 1-year rental. And besides the fact, he's holding out for the Bears because he wants a better deal. Why would he come here and we just don't sign him for a big deal? And we're going to have to. If you trade for a guy like Smith, you have to, you got to pay him. And we have already paid so many people over this past offseason, mostly on the offensive side with Armstead and Tyreek. And then we signed Wilson, we signed Edmonds, and we had to give Gesicki at least the franchise tag. So that costs a lot of money. But we've got a lot of guys, a lot of money guaranteed over the coming years. And there's no guarantee we won't re-sign Gesicki. They're a little stuck there. It takes a long time for a tight end to develop. So if you draft one next year, he's really not going to help you next year. Hunter Long's not coming along, at least so far, like we thought.
Presumably they're liking what they're seeing from him this year in camp.
He's okay. He's been okay. It hasn't been anything super special.
No, nothing special. But
yeah, exactly. They're teaching Gesicki how to block for a reason. They want to see if this guy can be the blocker, at least that they need to be at a minimum, so that they can run the plays they want to play without tipping off the defense as to what they're doing by having to put in Smythe or put in Hunter Long or something like that. That's what they're, if indeed they do get the Gesicki they really want to get, which is a guy that can do what we've seen him do, but then also can block at least at a bare minimum the way they need him to. They're kind of forcing their hand that they're going to have to continue with this guy unless Hunter Long explodes this season. That's it. Those are your choices. That, or you have to go then trade for somebody. But if you trade for somebody good that you want, you're probably going to pay them a lot of money, just like you'd pay Gesicki, right? And you have to give up picks. Yeah, I just have a feeling that they may end up having to move forward with Gesicki unless they just can't get the blocking scheme down and be the tight end that McDaniel wants. Then they're kind of stuck. I don't know what they'll do in that case. So we got to just kind of hope that Gesicki figures it out. However, that means you're paying the guy.
Fair enough. And Lee Connolly said that Smith won't sign without a contract extension. I think the Bears will fold and pay him. I can definitely see that being the case. I know that the Bears are they're kind of in a bad PR spot right now. I know that they're trying to save face because Roquan Smith is basically the face of that defense right now. So. Mm-hmm. And we welcome Manny, our producer, good friend of the show.
So one of the things that I want to remind a lot of fans about this new Bears regime, their head coach comes from a defensive mind in Indy, and his mind is not having 3 linebackers on the field, it's 2. As most defensives are now going, they're going with a whole 3 cornerbacks on the field, 2 linebackers. And the thing with Roquan, even though they don't want to say it, I'm pretty sure they view him as just a middle linebacker. They don't view him as a guy that can cover in space, and they probably don't view him as a guy that can rush. So I can see why, the negotiations have been taking place since April, but nothing's really been happening. And you're already you're approaching preseason game number 1, and yet your most talented player overall besides Justin Fields, unless you want to say, I guess their wide receiver is probably the most talented.
Has what wide receivers? There's none left.
Well, you're right. There was another one that got hurt today in an empty Soldier Field on Family Day, which I found very odd for the Bears to have a Family Day during the week. But you would think that in the history of this franchise, especially at that position, new regime, new head coach, and everything, you want a guy like Roquan Smith to be that middle guy. I think he would thrive here in Miami without question. He already has guys around him. You have basically a secondary set up for you. You have the guys in the front that can be, could basically make your job so much easier. Just find the guy and tackle. Plus, he's led the team in tackles the last 2 years. What's the one issue, though? Injuries. That's the only thing that people have. And right now, he's on the PUP list. He's not even scheduled to play for a little bit. So, but that's the only question, though, right? with most defenses in this league going down with a whole, 3 cornerbacks, 2 linebackers. Can he again? If you're a freakish athlete at that position, you got to take the guy. I mean, Fred Warner, he's probably not the greatest linebacker ever, but that man could run, right? And he can create tackles once out of every 5 plays.
And he produces.
And he produces. So,
yeah,
that's what I want to say.
No, that's that. And hey, anytime you want to chime in, feel free to chime in. Perfect.
That's
cue.
good thoughts. That's definitely good thoughts on Smith and strengths and weaknesses. And yeah, I mean, he would definitely be a help. He would be a finishing touch of this defense, no doubt. I just don't think you can go trade Gesicki. I mean, what are you going to do at tight end? I mean, I just don't think that's an option. Not saying I don't think we're trading for him. By the way, I just want to say that I do not think the Dolphins are getting Smith. Sorry, but since we're discussing it and what it would look like, Gesicki is not the one you got to trade. We need Gesicki this year. We need to figure out what Gesicki is because we really don't have an answer at tight end if you ship off Gesicki.
Yeah, I understand that completely, and I agree with you. Just briefly, you're going to mention for Jack Daniels, which is Jack Daniels, left tackle. That's Teron Armstead. Don't need to spend on another one. Thank you. I think you might have meant right tackle, which is definitely a question mark, for lack of a better term. Austin Jackson.
Austin Jackson going to pancake folks tomorrow.
Listen. Alfredo said he's looking better. He's looking competent. I guess competent is the best that we
He
can
did
hope
not
for.
look competent this time last year in camp. He was getting destroyed. He did not look competent. So just looking competent,
that's an improvement for Austin Jackson.
Absolutely. Think about how poor that he was last year, how poor the line was in general last year, how many pressures Tua faced. I mean, it was just all-time bad. Yeah, if you had a line that's just even average, I mean, the difference in what the Dolphins were last year to say like the 16th ranked offensive line, that gap is probably a lot bigger than the 16th ranked offensive line to the first. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's this, but we're talking about like this. I mean, it's crazy how bad that line was last year. I just don't think
historically
people realize
bad, Ron.
Historically,
that is not an exaggeration. Historically bad offensive line,
and it's been historically bad in general for years. That's the thing. But last year was just the icing on the cake. So let's see, man. We'll see if they keep saying that the zone scheme hides inefficiencies in the offensive line. We're going to find out if that's the case, assuming we still have inefficiencies to hide.
We'll find out. Manny, throw up the next tweet, please, because I know I see a lot of questions in the live chat, but I want to make sure that the tweets get some priority. Remember, guys, if you ever want to send out some questions that get priority, make sure that you're going to either my tag at Louis D. Sung, or you can tweet 3 yards per carry when they send out the question, basically asking the theme of the show. So if you want you can always throw in some super chat, and we'll definitely give you a shout out right there, and we'll definitely make sure your comment gets prioritized. So just throwing that out there. Okay, so next. Oh, look at that. It's Lee Connolly anyway. All right. So right tackle will be tested big time over the next couple of days. Still my number one concern on this team. Is it too late to change the plans there? Is it too late? No, I don't think it's too late, but I think that they're going to give Austin Jackson every opportunity to win that job. And not only that, it's at this point, I would say it's his job to lose. And I think his draft status has a lot to do with that. But
it's been his job to lose all summer. I expected fully that by now he would have already lost it. I have to be honest. Going into the training camp, I thought by now they would already be testing other guys at that right tackle position, or we'd be hearing lots of rumors like, oh, we're going after this guy. Maybe we're going after that guy. We're looking for a trade. They kicked Hunt out there, and they have done none of that. So
there have been some rumors about the whole Tevin Jenkins thing, which isn't he on the Bears as well?
He is also on the Bears, and that's a terrible.
Like we just want
terrible answer. Terrible answer. No, that's not who we want. That's not what we want to do.
Yeah. So what? So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so we have other options. It's not like there aren't any promising young options. Larnell Coleman, remember, he was actually pretty solid, all things considered, at right tackle. Last year at training camp, before he wound up going on IR, we basically stashed him so that nobody else could snipe him from the team. So Larnell Coleman's still there. Greg Little's still hanging around. I didn't even know he was still on the roster, to be perfectly honest. I completely forgotten about Greg Little, but he's still there. So I wonder what he's up to. Let me throw out some more names out there because I'm still reading down the whole roster. And something else to notice is that the only ones that are not considered unless your name is like officially a tackle, because Teron Armstead is only a tackle.
Yes.
Larnell Coleman is only a tackle. Every other single player on the roster right now is just listed as OL.
Yeah,
there's no guards.
line.
There's no guards. It's just offensive linemen. So guys like Kellen Dietz, Blaze Andrews, guys like Liam Eichenberg.
Andrews, man, I mean, he's an undrafted free agent. He's got a shot from what I'm hearing. I mean, he's doing well from what I'm saying. I don't know that he makes the 53, but it sounds like he's doing well, and they like what they've seen from him so far. So,
and there's still Robert Jones. And remember Robert Jones, when he took, I still remember, and it still angers me to no end, because it was such a long time that I was defending Brian Flores, and then this happens, and I'm just like, what were you waiting so long for? Robert Jones, last game of the 2021 season, he steps in for Jesse Davis and immediately looks 3 times better. Like, not even close, the difference. I'm like, he's been here all this time. What took you so long?
He's actually, I noticed that Jones is actually listed as the second guard behind Hunt, but ahead of Kinley. I mean, I heard Kinley lost some weight. I thought maybe this was his chance. I kind of had it in my mind that Kinley was going to step up, and what was going to happen was Austin Jackson was going to be terrible. They were going to kick Hunt out to right tackle, and they were going to put Kinley at right guard. Yeah, so far, none of my guesses on the offensive line had happened, because even if that were to happen, it sounds like Jones would be the one at right guard and then Hunt at right tackle if that's the move that they made. Like, Kinley's not – I don't think Kinley's going to make it, man. I mean, if he stays at third, I just don't know if he's going to make it.
Yeah, it's very difficult to see like Solomon Kinley making it. He's a power guy in a zone scheme. This is just it's not his thing. And unfortunately, in perfect cue, I'm just going to bring this up. He stepped up to a buffet. I feel like that's an unfair criticism for him this year. This season, it's unfair. Last season, it was completely fair.
Yeah. This year, he's worked hard to lose weight, but it's been a lot of people on both lines. Hunt has lost weight. Kinley has lost weight. Davis has lost weight. Wilkins has lost weight. And I'm sure there's Austin Jackson has lost weight.
Did Jackson really need to lose weight?
That's what McDaniel wanted for the D line and for the O line. He wants them a little lighter and a little faster on both sides of the ball. And
let me tell you something. Christian Wilkins, by the way, he's this close. Really, I really believe this. He's this close to becoming a superstar. I really do. I wanted to extend him this season. I didn't want to wait.
I think you're going to see him I think we're going to regret waiting, honestly, because I think you're going to see him in the backfield a lot more than you have in the past. He's going to be much more disruptive than we've seen. He's done a lot of great work, but
he was pretty darn disruptive last season. That wasn't even his job, Ron. That wasn't even his job. His job was to make space for everybody else to be disruptive.
Yeah, I think he'll be even more disruptive this year. I think he'll get good push in there. Him and Davis in the middle. I love it with Sealer backing him up. I mean, you can't ask for more, honestly.
What team wants to face these Dolphins? So for real.
The Bills. The Bills are chomping to face us. They have ultimate confidence when they play us, especially Josh Allen.
Okay, well, you know what? Hopefully that changes now, because Teron Armstead is there to protect.
I'm just remembering Nate Gary, that Buffalo Bills writer dude, whatever he is on Twitter, his little smart butt comment about, is there anything more overrated than the Dolphins defense? I am just holding my tongue till week 3. I hope we smash them.
I mean, listen,
I cannot wait to respond back to that. I'm just going to be quiet, holding it in for a year on that smart butt comment.
I mean, I'm hoping that Josh Boyer is able to keep doing the same stuff that the Brian Flores defense, because that's the real question, isn't it? Is Brian Flores defense, was it really a Brian Flores and Gerald Alexander defense, or did Boyer actually have something to do with this? Because if Boyer...
Everybody has a different opinion on that, don't they?
Exactly.
They all claim responsibility. Nobody wants to claim responsibility for the first half of last season either. Then all of a sudden, second half, they start playing really good defense. And mostly that was because of a heavy blitz scheme. I mean, we zero blitzed Lamar Jackson last year 35 times.
We got away from that, and then we jumped back into it.
35 times we zero blitzed Lamar Jackson. I imagine this year it'll be a whole lot more of the same for him in week 2.
Some guys just can't handle that kind of pressure. All right, next tweet, please. Just trying to keep things rolling along because I know we don't want to do it too long of a show, but we got to do some chit-chatting. All right. Oh, no. Yeah, that was the same one. If we aren't going to pay Gesicki long-term, the Bears aren't going to pay Smith. Can we just swap? Nope. We already went over that. I don't think that they're going to do it. I want them to, but not for Gesicki. I want to pay. I want to trade for Roquan, but not with Gesicki.
It just doesn't make sense for the offense to get rid of Gesicki right now. I just don't know what the plan would be there. It would just be such a deficiency at that spot if you did that.
So here's Dolphins fan 13. Bears get Preston Williams, a second-round pick, and a 2024 third-rounder, and we get Roquan Smith. Well, I mean, that still leaves the whole Lynn Bowden thing. I honestly, if I were anything, I would give them Lynn Bowden and let them keep the second rounder. That's what I would do. Because
let's start with this. We don't have a 2024 third round pick.
Oh, we don't.
Thanks to us not getting.
Oh, that's Brady. Right. That's right. Yes, that's right.
We're the worst tamperers.
We lost our third rounder on 2024.
Yeah.
Exactly. That sucks. I almost forgot about that. You know what? That's been the every time you get excited about this team, something happens, man. It's kind of incredible to believe that the Dolphins were so blatant about their tampering. Like, if you're gonna do this, at least get a burner phone or something. Come on, just be a little more discreet. No, it's like, no, we're out in the open. We're gonna do this, man.
We're just chilling on this yacht here at the dock. Got Tom Brady right here. I got Beal. Beal's been suspended already for a year. He's not even the owner yet. The guy's already suspended. Now, if there's any ownership duties that have to be done, Fergie has to step in for us.
So it's gonna be Garfinkel. It's Garfinkel.
So I do have a question, and I want to see if maybe you guys not fear, but kind of have the same feelings as me. Is that, and I understand that probably Tom Brady will never get punished for anything that he actually does, besides getting suspended for what was that, 5-6 games.
4 games for deflating a ball.
4 games for deflating a football, which he played the entire game with one that was already deflated from the get-go. How is it that this man, and I understand he's the GOAT of our sport, but you would think, though, right, that something has to happen when he retires when it comes to this, right? Or maybe if you're one of his teammates back in New England, really, you spent your final years with us trying to go to an enemy rival because you were going to get, what was it, like percentage of team ownership plus you playing quarterback?
I really don't think they're going to. No, nothing's going to happen to Brady. Yeah. And quite frankly, and let me be
nothing's going to happen to him.
Let me be clear, Manny, though. Let me be clear. I don't think anything should happen to Brady for this, because ultimately, ultimately, that's on the agents. The agent for Sean Payton, and I believe Brady as well, he should get punished big time, because he was having these talks and he was allowing this kind of stuff to go on. He should be punished, not Brady and not Payton, but the agent who was allowing all this to go on, that guy should be punished.
At least we finally got the answer to the question for sure, and I felt pretty good about it, but we weren't 100% sure. When we heard that Brady made the comment after he was leaving New England, before he went to Tampa, trying to figure out where he was going to go, we heard he made a comment, what? You're going to go with that guy? And we thought maybe for a long time that guy might have been Jimmy Garoppolo, or was it Ryan Fitzpatrick?
I mean,
that guy was absolutely Ryan Fitzpatrick, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were already speculating that at the end of the day, but now it's pretty much confirmed.
Now it's confirmed. It was Ryan Fitzpatrick.
But I mean, even then, it's just like, if that's the case, then if he's upset about it, like, was he actually wanting to go to Miami? Was that actually something he wanted to do? I'm honestly still not sure. But even if that is the case, he would still have to, first of all, agree to do this. If he had agreed to it, like if there had been like this close to basically a handshake agreement happening, then I think Brady would have had to be punished for it, because it's like, what are you doing, man? You're already on a team. You can't do this stuff. But since that never actually got that far, then no, technically speaking, he should not be punished. So I saw perfect cue somewhere. Brian Flores is pissed that his tanking allegations didn't destroy the organization. I mean, listen, man, how far was it gonna go? Like, the worst that could have happened is that Ross would have had to sell the team. And if that's the case, then I mean, a new owner, new vision, team still exists, franchise still goes on, history is still intact. We just look at the Ross era as one of the more chaotic eras of the team. It's going to happen. All right. So, from Ricky L. Watson, some Dolphins fans need to give it a rest about Kareem Hunt. He was good 5 years ago. This is 2022. He doesn't fit the scheme the Dolphins have, nor is he as fast as the running backs the Dolphins already have. Let it go. He's not better than the running backs the Dolphins have in this scheme. Honestly, I can't disagree with that. I don't see any value right now in adding Kareem Hunt for any kind of capital, to be perfectly honest. You already have Chase Edmonds, who's the pass catching, speedy running back. You already have Raheem Mostert, who's the even faster running back, who's a little bit, I think he's got some blocking skill, but he's not as good as at catching the football. And if you really need something who's more all around, if you want to, you can still keep Myles Gaskin. I personally am not a fan of that idea because I'm ready to move on from Myles Gaskin. But even if that's the case, then you still have Sony Michel waiting in the wings. Zaquandre White, who's the undrafted rookie, who's got some promise apparently. Jared Dokes is still hanging around. Might as well give him a shot. There's options there at that position. There's not like the Dolphins are absolutely hurting for running backs right now. And not only that, we can't even ignore this. Alec Ingold is a fullback, and I think he's going to be a key part of this offense. So technically speaking, you could say he's also a running back.
I guess, I mean, without giving too much away, because, I was at a couple of the practices. Yeah, that guy's in on like a lot of stuff there. Like, I hope that didn't give too much away.
I mean, you said was that he was doing
public
things.
Practices. It wasn't like I had, media credentials, so I didn't see anything that the public didn't see. The guy's in. They got the fullback in on a ton of plays, on run plays, on pass plays. He's all over the place. So he's sitting there in his red jersey, but still pancaking people. That's got to tick off the defense. But the fullback's going to be used plenty in this offense, I believe, clearly.
Yeah, I don't think you said anything wrong. Saying that Alec Ingold is doing things is about as vague as you can possibly be.
Yeah, there you go. He's doing things. I hope that isn't giving too much.
Yes, he's going to play. He's on the roster for a reason.
He's going to play a lot. So be ready for that. He's not a guy you're just throwing in here and there.
Which is really weird considering what the Dolphins have been. Haven't been known for fullbacks for a long time. Chase Edmonds is going to be a sleeper in my fantasy league. Mark my words. This is all the way back in 2021. Guess what? It's like, yeah, you're a year early, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, man.
I just found it because I wanted to throw it out there as a possibility, just to kind of talk about Dolphins and fantasy a little. That's why I put.
Make sure you go to PrizePicks.com and put the over on Chase Edmonds. I guarantee you'll get some wins this season.
It's so hard to tell with Miami, and if you were gonna try and decide, all right, what running back would I try and pick? I feel like Edmonds is going to be the guy way more than people think. I know it's like, oh, we got Michelle, we got Mostert. I know some people think that maybe Mostert would be started. Man, I really feel like they like Edmonds.
I think it's going to be Chase Edmonds.
It's going to be Edmonds. He's going to be the starter. He's going to get most of the run carries, I believe, especially when they're wanting to run on the inside. So I really think that Edmonds gets a heavier workload than people realize. And Mostert's just... And Michelle's going to be in there to spell some of the guys, and Mostert's going to be in there when they want to mix things up and do some different things. But I feel like Edmonds is going to get the bigger share of it. So I don't know where he's going as far as fantasy, but if you could get him as like your third back, or your fourth back or something like somewhere like that, if it's possible, if he's going that far, I think he would be a value. And I wouldn't go overdrafting him because I don't believe in overdrafting anybody in fantasy, but yeah, I just think that Edmonds is going to get more of the line share of the running snaps than people realize, even though we have a lot of backs.
And Cap for life, sometimes he just disagrees with the things that I say. Running game is suspect, doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. What are you talking about, man? This is Mike McDaniel's whole shtick. Is the running game. If the running game is not functioning, then he has already failed as a head coach. I'm not concerned about the running game right now. The only reason I would be concerned is if the offensive line can't block. And if nothing else, Connor Williams and Teron Armstead being there, along with Robert Hunt, that's 3 out of 5 spots that I'm actually pretty confident in. So yeah, they're gonna run.
When TA's in on the practice, it's a different running game
because he's a superstar tough tackle for a reason.
It's just a different running game, but they're running off the right side too, off Austin Jackson. Some of the bigger ones that they've popped in practice have been off the right side. They're not scared to run behind Jackson either. So it's I'm not super worried about the running game. I mean, we're not going to be a power running game. It's not going to be run 2-3 yards, run 2-3 yards. It's not the kind of running game we're going to have. They're looking to try and get some big chunks with the running game. So just going to be interesting to see if they do any RPO stuff, things like that. I have guesses, but it was from watching practice, so I don't want to give too much away. Let's see what we see in preseason. Although if you listen to Mike McDaniel, we're going to see nothing in preseason because he doesn't even like preseason in regards to preparing his starters. Loves it for the second, third, fourth string guys to show what they have. He understands the value of that. When it comes to the value for his starters, he doesn't believe it really has any. So I don't know what you're really going to see, if anything, from the starters in the preseason games.
I wouldn't be surprised. They're still going to have some type of a dress rehearsal. I'm sure they will.
I'll be honest with you, depending on these practices coming up, these joint practices with Tampa, if they go the way he'd like them to, I think you won't see TA. I guarantee you. Forget it. You're not going to see Armstead.
No,
I don't know that you're going to see
Teron Armstead.
I don't think you're going to see Tua, Reek, or Waddle. I don't think you're going to see any of those guys. If it is, it's like for maybe one drive, but you're going to see a good bulk of that offensive line except for TA.
And I'm perfectly fine with that. So let's see. Is there any more tweets that we've got here, Manny? I see a lot of comments coming in about the offensive line being important and to the running game, and it's correct. Fernando, cannot believe that for the first time, Miami Dolphins will be starting a waiting list for season tickets. Hard Rock Stadium should be electric this season. It's still hard to believe, isn't it, Ron? That we actually have that kind of thing going on. Does that mean that finally, after all these years, the visiting team is not going to outnumber the fans in the Hard Rock Stadium?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to like 52% of the spectators being Dolphins fans. That would be a change.
I mean, I still remember that game I went to where it was the Baltimore Ravens who were coming to town, and I saw literally going through the parking lot, there was more purple in the stands in the parking lot than there was of actual aqua and orange. And I was like, when did I move to Baltimore? This is not the Dolphins game.
Seen that with the Patriots all the time. Obviously, that's a big one that seems to travel. Jets fans travel. I mean, we're a destination city, so I get it. It's going to happen. I'm sure Vegas is going through that as well, especially that Vegas hasn't been a hometown team, but for a year or so. I imagine they're going through the same thing. Everybody, hey, let's make a Vegas trip.
Yeah, exactly. It's just bizarre, man. It's crazy. Oh, are you stuck? Are you stuck? I think Ron might be stuck. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, the lights went out. Oh, my gosh. I think Ron's power might have gone out. Oh, Baltimore got upset that I was trashing him, so they shut off his power. Okay. All right. Well, if Ron gets back, then I'll go ahead and I'll bring him back in. But for the time being, I'll go ahead and I'll address some of the chat stuff in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and call this show. From Aaron Anders, who takes the last two wide receivers to make the team? So first you have to count off who are the guarantees to make this roster. So obviously we're going to have Tyreek Hill. That's 1. You're going to have Jalen Waddle. That's 2. You're going to have Cedric Wilson. That's 3. And then after that, it becomes, it's a little bit of a tricky situation here. I'm thinking that after all the performances that he's put on, I really think Eric Ezukanma is going to end up making the roster. I think he's doing too well for him to actually be left on the practice squad. I think some team like the Bears are going to be looking at this guy and being like, hey, we can snipe that guy. Let's go ahead and grab him. And so I really do believe that he's going to be wide receiver number 4. After that, you're going to have, I would say, I'm going to go ahead and say either River Craycraft or Trent Sherfield. I don't think both of them will make it. I think one of them will. I'm not sure which. Probably the one who does better at special teams. Now, assuming the Dolphins decide that they want to go with 6, and that's an assumption because we don't know that for sure. Because, quite frankly, if you really think about it, what is Mike Gesicki if not a glorified wide receiver in the scene? Because at that point, you kind of have 6. Because Gesicki, his bread and butter is pass catching.
Are you calling him Jimmy Graham?
I'm calling him. That's his specialty. Jimmy Graham's specialty was catching the football. He tried to be a wide receiver because he knew they got paid more, but that's what he was good at. So
I just feel like at times Mike is too fragile, man. Like you see his body size, and you want him to go up there for the football, or
he's taking the beating. He's survived.
When he goes up, why has Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates been so successful in their NFL careers? Their positioning of their bodies going up for the football. I think Mike, if he gets that a little bit, if he improves there, then listen, he has the arm.
Manny, it's all
I'm being
relative
big,
because
dude, I'm being big.
because you know what, Gronk is built like a brick house, and he got hurt how many times?
Bro, Gronk's had 5 torn ACLs, 5 shoulder surgeries, 25,000 concussions,
Right, and
and
this
he
guy
might still
walks
come
around
back.
like this. So I don't.
3 Super Bowls, Lewis. 3 Super Bowls.
3 Super Bowls,
3.
thanks to Tom Brady. Yeah, no, I'm not interested in Gronk.
Here we go.
The body shape for me, I'm not concerned, man, because you have a lot of skinny dudes who end up surviving a long time, and you have a lot of guys who are built like a square, and they still end up getting hurt. Robert Trainer brings up Braylon Sanders. He's definitely up there because, again, making some plays. He's the reason. Braylon Sanders and Eric Ezukanma are the reason why Preston Williams and Lynn Bowden Jr. are basically tradable at this point. They're the reason they're on the trade block because of the ability that they're showing in training camp. And they may even bring it back when Ron's back. Did your power go out, bro?
Yeah, did you see the flashing?
I saw the light go out and I was like, oh wait, what's going on? And then you froze and
That's
then everything stopped.
That's the power of the Miami Dolphins. That's what
I was saying. The Ravens cut your power because they were mad I was trashing them.
Yeah, maybe it was Vegas. I don't know. Maybe it was all that stuff I said about the Eagles. Manny's mad. No, I don't. I actually like the Eagles.
No, listen, one thing is for a fact, we will still take over that stadium and we'll probably lose again. So it don't matter.
So what we were talking about, Ron, was who are the last 2 wide receivers who would make the roster. So I was going off the assumption that they would keep 6. And I think either one of River Craycraft or Trent Sherfield will make the roster. I think Eric Ezukanma will be number 4. So that makes Sherfield or Craycraft number 5. And I was the suggestion now is, well, who's number 6? It was Robert Trainer who was suggesting Braylon Sanders. And I was just saying that Braylon Sanders and Eric Ezukanma are literally the reasons why Preston Williams and Lynn Bowden Jr. are on the trade block right now. So it would not surprise me in the least if they both made the roster. Listen, if you ball, if you play well, if you can't give the Dolphins an excuse for why they shouldn't roster you, they're going to roster you. I remember, if I haven't been able to go to camp this year myself because of all the things that are going on with my work life. I work mornings now, so it's just like, oops, can't make it to training camp this year. But just tell me about you. You said you've been there a few times, Ron. Have you seen Braylon Sanders in action? Like, does he have that kind of a Jarvis Landry vibe with the energy he gives off?
Yeah, I mean, he's in all kinds of plays. I mean, he's noticeable every time you either if you get the training camp report or if you're there. Like I said, I was only at 2 of them, but you look at all the training camp reports and the guy's in on so much. He's just making it hard for them to get rid of him. Honestly, they're going to make it hard for them to cut him. And I do agree too that what is that? I can just call him Easy E, the new wide receiver that we got.
You got to get used to the names, Ron. Just like we got used to Noah Igbenogany, Ndamukong Suh.
I still call
Eric
him
Ezukanma.
I still call him Iggy Ezukanma. Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, a lot of people thought, oh, he'll make it just because he's 4th round, but we're starting to see why he was drafted. I don't know, man. They seem to be able to find wide receivers all of a sudden. And Sherfield, I just agree. I completely agree that he's going to make it. I think he was signed for a reason.
Sherfield over Craycraft?
Yes.
Okay.
So, obviously we're guessing and we always get surprised, but I could see, if they can't trade Williams, and I haven't seen Bowden do anything like at all. I didn't even seen his name mentioned. I'm sure he's caught a pass or 2, but we'll see. That's why I guess impressive Williams. One thing I can say McDaniel had his first test, right? Was Williams. He went out on social media, and then he went the next day in the media, so to speak, there, and kind of backed up what his words were as far as wanting an opportunity. And complaining about not getting opportunities under Mike McDaniel clearly doesn't give you more opportunities. That just seems to be the fact. You're going to have to create those for yourself. And if you're not able to in the training room or in the film room and then on the field, then you're just not going to make it. So I think that it seemed he even indicated that Mike McDaniel was kind of annoyed with him about the tweet stuff. So good. It was McDaniel's first test. He didn't just cut him because he may have some value to him. They even listed him as the 2nd wide receiver behind Waddle. I'm sure that might be just some jockeying because you're trying to put him out there as a trade. Yeah. So let's face it, he's not the second wide receiver behind Waddle. He's down on the depth chart, like at 7, 8, 9 somewhere right now, probably. I get his frustration. He signed with us, and then we went nuts.
I mean, he got hurt, but he got hurt, and he got hurt again, and then he got hurt again, and then he signed with us, and he got hurt again. I mean,
he signed with us though, thinking, oh man, they're not even re-signing Mac Hollins, man. All they got is Waddle. Like I'm in there.
I wanted Mac. I wanted to keep Mac.
Yeah, I wanted to keep Mac too. And then all of a sudden, we signed Wilson. We traded for Reek. We signed Sherfield, and then we drafted Azukama. We picked up Crocraft. So I get
and Mohamed Sanu. Don't forget him.
Braylon Sanders. I mean, that guy came out of nowhere. He's making an opportunity for himself, right? Azukama, he was drafted 4th round, but he's making an opportunity for yourself. Like, where are you? Did you think that it was just going to be handed to you because originally there was hardly any other wide receivers on the team? I'm just not sure what his mindset was, but it doesn't seem that he. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to work out. Let's just put it that way. Either he's going to get traded or cut. It's not going to work out.
And Ron, that's very unfortunate, because if you look at your own head coach and see where he came from, and he puts his guys in best positions to succeed. So if there's something that he's yet has told you on what to do or on where to line up, it's because he still has a plan. And for him to take to social media, I think that kind of ruined any type of plans that coach probably even had for him. For any young player going to social media nowadays, listen, you already know this. Lewis knows this. Ron knows this. Shit, excuse my English. A lot of us that are under the age of 18 already know don't even take to social media for that instance. That is not going to grant you any leeway in anything, especially in professional sports whatsoever. So
the only way you can get away with that.
Preston, you were that one guy that I saw in preseason. I said, oh, okay. Oh, damn. And that's it.
And then he got hurt. Like I think he needs a fresh start somewhere else. Maybe somewhere else he'll get somewhere. But
Chicago.
Here in Miami, Chicago.
Roquan Smith, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, Dallas could use some receivers right now. They're hurting a little bit. Besides,
who does Dallas have? Give me some of their offensive linemen. Give me a who do they got over there still? Do they still have somebody?
I don't know. A lot of that offensive line. I mean, they have a good offensive line, but a lot of their old, like
it is aging. Remember,
I don't care. I don't care if you're 35 years old.
Once upon a time, that old line had like 5 first-round picks.
Yeah,
bro, it's been 6-7 years of the same.
Yeah, it's been a minute since that. Absolutely.
34-year-old Josh Sitton came to Miami and was instantly the best offensive lineman they had on the roster. Okay,
well, you might as well call back Tim Ruddy then to play center.
That wouldn't be the case now, though, Lewis. I mean, honestly, that wouldn't be the case now. I mean,
obviously not now.
That was a long time right ago. Tackle works out with Austin Jackson, I think the next big worry is, can Connor Williams play the center position? Can he snap the ball consistently, and can he figure out what his blocking assignment is after the snap, which sounds like that might be more his issue than the snap itself. Some of the bad snaps in practice seem to be coming from Pankey. We don't have Dieter, obviously.
That was the weird thing for me. I don't remember. Adam Pankey was a tackle. What was he doing at center? That was
because we don't have another center.
I know we don't have one right now.
They tried out 3 centers, because we really don't have a true backup center, so they're just having to make do. And, that's where some of those bad high snaps I saw a lot of high snaps to Teddy and even to Skylar Thompson. Can I say Skylar Thompson, man? Like, he looks good. I know he's just a 7th round pick. I'm not saying he's coming to the league, taking it by storm, but I could definitely see them growing him into
a radar quarterback competition with two.
No, just growing him into an actual backup quarterback where you don't have to spend. Yeah, you don't have to spend vet money. That's what I'm talking about. This like trying to grow him into an actual backup quarterback, so you don't have to spend like vet money. 7, 8, 9. Well, I don't even know what we spent on
Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater, I think, was like $8 million.
Exactly, where you could spend 3, on Thompson.
So Ron, let's say, because obviously the Niners
have 10, by the way, 10.
That's a lot.
They have already said that they're not going to go out and trade, Mr. Garoppolo unless it's for the right deal per se. Would you mind him as the backup quarterback here?
No.
Because
It's
he
just
wouldn't
too-
be the backup. He would.
Yeah,
what's
it
gonna
would-
happen
it's just
is going to be a
too-
long controversy.
We
and
cannot
people are
do
gonna be
that to this
chanting,
man.
"Jimmy,
I understand that
Jimmy."
Tua has confidence and everything, but man, we cannot do this to this man
Listen,
again.
Jimmy Garoppolo will bring a new fan base down here, bro.
It
Yeah,
won't be
not
the new
what I
fan base.
want.
It'll be the same fan
We
base
already
that
sold
hates
out season
Tua.
tickets. We don't need another fan base.
Yeah, there you go. It'll be the same fan base that just doesn't like Tua. That's just going to be the Jimmy fans. It's not going to be a new fan base.
And
you know
that's the
what I mean?
crazy. Think about it. You're going to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Tua's already Jimmy Garoppolo at his base. Why
Yeah,
do you
Tua,
need to go get
to
Jimmy?
me, Tua's already better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't
I
see
think
the
at
point of
this
getting
point,
Garoppolo.
Trey Lance is already upon Jimmy Garoppolo.
He
in
was
all
better than
honesty.
Jimmy Garoppolo last season.
Yeah, so now I think they're going to end up cutting him. They're just waiting to the last minute, August 30th, and he's going to get cut. And somebody will pick him up somewhere, but he's going to get cut August 30th because no one's trading for him.
One thing I want to bring up before we go, and this was a comment that was being made by Carlos Ortega. You can't hide players on the practice squad until after they clear waivers. So yeah, then also F Jimmy G. Yes, I'm over that. I like when I heard that rumor come out, I'm like, no. Jimmy G finished 12th overall. You mean the 49ers with their better coaching and better team overall that managed to make the playoffs because they actually functioned as
And
a
they
What is
actually
organization?
ran. Hold on. They actually ran the football in the postseason with a quarterback that didn't even throw a touchdown pass, if I remember correctly. They
That's
made
like
it to the
giving
NFC Championship game.
And
without
he
a-
said that
without a
comment
throwing touchdown pass.
that comment was
How is
12th
that
and 27th,
possible?
like 12th and 27th and what? I'm not even sure what it, whatever.
Guys, still though,
some
enough.
obscure
Like, how is
stat,
that
I'm sure.
possible that your team makes it to the conference title game and your quarterback doesn't even throw for a touchdown pass? That's
Bro,
it, dude. Next.
Manny, Mac Jones. What was it? Mac Jones threw 3 passes in a game and they still managed to win for the Patriots. 3 passes.
Bro, I
total.
cannot wait for Mac Jones' value on his sports cards to go straight down the hill. His damn things are going for $1,000. I can't wait for it to be worth.
Oh, that's
$5.
ridiculous. That's
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous, man.
That's
All right.
crazy. People are buying Mac Jones cards for $1,000.
That are the autograph cards and numbered and gold and all types of parallels have been going for $1,000 to $1,500, probably even around in the $30K for ones that are 1 of 1s, 1 of 5s. And I'm trying to understand this. Like, you really, literally, guys think just because he's wearing a Patriots uniform and he's being coached by Bill Belichick. Listen, I'm sorry. I cannot wait for the reality to set in. I'm sorry, Mac Jones is just another guy.
It's setting in
There's
week
nothing special.
1, baby. Week 1, it's setting in.
So you're the expert on Alabama, Ron. What was the difference between Tua and Mac?
Mac wasn't as good.
Okay.
that was mostly the difference. I mean, Mac's not, it's a lot of it. I mean, a lot of these Bama quarterbacks. I look at Young, man, and people talk about, oh, we gotta tank for Young, this, that, and the other. It's like you're tanking for a guy that's just like Tua that you say sucks. I mean, people they just don't get it, man.
No, I
They
think
just don't get it.
And then I also think what people don't realize is also when you look at the surrounding team on offense, especially when you're the quarterback, yes, have the running backs panned out from Bama? Probably maybe Mark Ingram? That's about it. Everybody has folded. But their wide receivers have always been top notch, starting with Julio Jones going straight down.
Derrick Henry
So-
was from Bama. Just saying. I think that guy's been okay.
I forgot. I tell you, I forgot about
I'm
Derrick
just
Henry.
saying.
He plays in freaking Tennessee, right?
Josh Jacobs is also from Bama.
Josh
I'm
Jacobs
just
is
saying.
No, but I was talking about guys like Trent Richardson, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Jesus,
Trent
what happened to him?
Richardson was like that was like a different decade ago, dude. Like when we got to catch up with the current Bama running backs.
I don't have
The current crop is pretty good.
there
there was a couple guys back in the day that weren't as good, but
we thought they were.
Yeah, well, everybody thinks that every Bama back is going to be like, and they're not all. Granted, Manny, you're right, they're not all, but we'll see what Najee Harris does in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
He's in a great situation, though.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he is. He's in Pittsburgh. They love to run the ball and play defense like they did in the 80s. Good luck, Pittsburgh. Good luck to any team that is thinking running the ball and play defense. If that's going to be your mentality as a coach and that's going to be your thought process, you're the best you're going to do is like 9-8. That's going to be the best you can think of. The
Do
best
we
you
want to
can
talk
get.
about real quick about the Jets' offensive line loss? I think it's a huge play, especially for Zach. The Jets now, I think, have to really focus on trying to make sure that the quarterback stays upright in the pocket.
Are they going to trying to sign Dwayne Brown now?
That's fine, but still, man, you lose one of your core pieces before even preseason week 1 game, man. That's
what I think. You know what I'm seeing, Manny? You know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a guy who is going to be looked at as a potential liability as far as cap goes because he keeps getting hurt, which means that maybe he might be looking for a new home soon. And I'm just thinking, well, Mixon Becton, the Dolphins could probably use another offensive. I'm just saying. But anyway, I'm
trying to trade for hurt dudes, right? Is that what's going on?
I'm trying to trade for guys. I'm trying to trade for guys who are studs, man. And you can't deny that he is one.
Didn't he get moved from left tackle to right tackle recently though this year? Like he wasn't even their left tackle now because
we have Armstead on one end and Becton on the other. Yeah, sounds pretty good, man.
I don't know, man. Well, let's see what Austin Jackson does. I don't know. I thought he was going to be.
And the Dolphins quarterback is also a lefty.
Yes,
there you go.
He is a lefty. The only one in the league.
The only one in the league. Crazy, man. Like the only quarterback. I don't even think it's the only starter. I think it's the only.
No, it's literally the only left-handed.
The only quarterback left.
Yes. That's it.
Wild, man. Just going to quickly give a shout out to Bomber T. I think he's a 49ers fan. I appreciate you taking the time to watch with us. He's basically talking stuff about Trey Lance is tearing it up. Good. I'm glad to hear that he's doing well for you. Yes, we do have a first round pick this year. I think it's yours actually. So there you go.
Yes.
So unfortunately we are.
So we wish all the worst for San Fran this year. Sorry. No offense, but only because of that. No other reason.
Is that tampering? No, it's not tampering. Only if Ross somehow goes and only if somebody in the organization goes and does the thing where we think. You know how we always think the Patriots are like bribing the referees to give them favorable calls. Like that's the only thing that would actually be tampering is like we actually do that. But I don't think anybody is that dumb to try that. Okay.
Tomlinson pretty much accused New England of knocking out his headset. It's like, all I know is every single time I'm there, I said what I said, man. I said what I said.
Every time I'm in New England, everything breaks. Like there's no signal in New England.
No. Or when the damn Patriots have a guy up in one of the suites and they go up to him, so who do you work for? Oh, I am just a fan. And then his pass says, NE Patriots video guy. Like,
yeah, exactly. I forgot about that, actually.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Man, they find ways, don't they? They find ways.
All right. So, great show. I'm really glad to have us back here. We're taking the pulse of Fins Nation. We'll be back here next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m., same time, same channel, same Prize Picks. So make sure that you go onto prizepicks.com, use the promo code 5. They'll match up to $100 on your deposit. And they also have some great little freebies that you can play with. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for those. So thank you all very much for joining us. And yes, like Caller Commentary said, like, share, and if you ever decide you want to throw a super chat our way, we'll definitely feature you, make you a point of discussion, whatever your comment was. So thank you all so much once again for joining us. We will see you all next week after the Dolphins' first preseason game against the Tampa Bay Bucks. But I do still have Bears on the brain. Good night, everybody.
Night.